Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie Boderman, ASI's Education Director, and thank you so much for joining us today for the webinar, How a Promo Supplier Makes Sustainability Possible in Manufacturing. Throughout the webinar at any time, please type your questions into the chat box, and we will answer them all at the end of the presentation. And with that, I'm very pleased to introduce Carly Gerstmann. She's the Director of Sustainability and Social Responsibility for Next Level Apparel. So Carly, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me and for joining. It's so great to have an opportunity to share Next Level's eco journey and some of our goals for the future. And thank you, Carrie. As she said, I am Carly Gerstmann, the Director of Corporate Social Responsibility at Next Level. And just to give you a little bit of background about myself, so I was brought into the company in July of 2019, really to bring some strategy and organization to our social responsibility efforts. So this includes all things related to social compliance, for example, joining the Fair Labor Association and going down our path to achieve participating company accreditation. So, really ensuring that our workplace standards are being met throughout the global supply chain, making sure our workers are treated fairly, and then also, obviously managing our company's sustainability strategy and goals. And, that's what we're here to talk about today. So, as we all are very aware, sustainability has clearly become a major focus among multiple industries. We see headlines in the news, natural disasters happening all over the world. And, we really recognize that we need to do our part to mitigate our negative impact on the environment as much as possible. And at Next Level, we know that it's our responsibility to really innovate and improve not only our products, but also processes in order to make a positive change towards that greener future that we all want. And in order to do this, we have to walk the talk, as I like to say. And we've really made it our mission to become more conscious of the vulnerability of the planet. And, it really goes beyond the demand from our customers. And we're so committed to prioritizing this in all of our operations. And so I want to tell you something that our CEO recently told us in an internal meeting. So Randy Hales, our new CEO, reiterated in this meeting the importance of innovation in businesses. So, I think when we all think about innovation, it's so common to think about products, like what is the next great thing that we can introduce to the market? But he really challenged us, all of us, to think of areas where we can innovate other than product. And, there really is room for innovation throughout every aspect of the business, and all of our everyday processes that we might not think about right off the bat, might not come naturally. But that's how we really try to approach our sustainability program. So every day we ask ourselves, where throughout the business and supply chain can we improve and make some innovative changes? So I'd like to share a few examples of some sustainable programs that we are currently focusing on. First, we have been using Reprieve in some of our eco styles for a few years now. And if some of you aren't familiar with Reprieve, well, you're in for a real treat later in the webinar. But basically, it is a fiber made from recycled plastic bottles manufactured by a company called Unify. So Unify is the world lead manufacturer of recycled plastic. And we were super fortunate to visit their facilities in North Carolina in April and capture the entire process in an amazing video, which you're going to get to see in a little bit. And we also have another clip that briefly talks about, our growing partnership with Unify and why we think it's so important. And we're, really, really excited to partner with a company like them. And we also recently moved our Los Angeles headquarters and warehouse into a new building. And this building is LEED Platinum certified. So this stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. So the building was actually designed and built in a way that focuses on sustainability, which was one of the main reasons we chose this particular location to move into. And we have also been focusing really heavily on increasing our direct shipping. So by doing this, this would reduce the domestic travel of our product. So, instead of having product shipped to our own next level warehouse and then to a distributor's warehouse, we would ship directly to the distributor. So that takes away our warehouse as the middleman. So, less transport, less roads traveled, meaning less emissions. And another project that we're really excited about is our fabric waste reduction project. And, this is something, so we implemented this in all of our cut and sew facilities starting in 2019. We've really improved since then. So to give you an idea, from 2019 to 2020, we decreased our fabric waste by 2.5 million pounds, and which is actually a 35% decrease. So pretty significant. And in order to achieve this, naturally, we needed to look at the processes and innovate new ways to improve. So one of the things that we did was that we invested in a new marker system, which allowed us to create our style markers more efficiently. And, for those of you who aren't super familiar with fabric markers, so they're what's used to cut pieces that are then, eventually sewn into our garments. So fabric enters a facility as a giant roll, and then it's laid onto these massive cutting tables in multiple layers. And then the marker is printed on this giant piece of paper, and it's laid down on top of these layers of fabric. And then that's what's cut. So there's always going to be fabric scraps around the edges. It's just inevitable, but that's the waste that we are decreasing. So we're fixing basically the way that the pattern pieces lay on this paper and on the fabric. And it's really like a fun little puzzle. So we're getting more use out of the fabric that comes into our factories. And for the scraps that we do create, we have partnered with companies that use them as fillers. So we send the scraps directly to these companies, and then they use those scraps to fill things like couches and carpets. So that, really creates that circular loop. That's the ultimate goal, and, gets us closer to that zero waste goal. So as I said, we really started focusing more strategically on our sustainability initiatives more recently. And these are, just some current projects that we feel are right for us at this point in time to focus on with the resources that we have. However, we do plan on, beginning to track more and more of our data so we can have, more tangible information to provide our customers. So for example, we are in the early stages of collecting GHG emissions with the shipping companies that we work with, collecting water usage with the dye houses that we work with, electricity usage at our factories, and just, so there's so many more areas that we can focus on. And, that's the ultimate goal, is to have that positive impact in all of these different areas. And eventually we hope to have all of that data displayed on our website for all of you to be able to visit at any given time. So, a lot of exciting and good things to come in the next few years for Next Level. And for now, I would like to go a little bit deeper into our partnership with Unify. So I want to show you guys a brief video explaining why we think it's so important to partner with companies like them.
Well, Reprieve is special because it's a recycled content synthetic fiber that is traceable, transparent, and third-party certified.
Our mission at Unify is to create great products made out of recycled materials, and that mission is not possible without brands like Next Level. Our collaboration with Next Level is a no compromise situation in terms of the level of comfort and performance that their products can achieve when they incorporate Reprieve-based material.
Partnering with Unify has enabled Next Level to expand on our eco line by using these recycled fibers, and that allows us to pursue our sustainability goals more effectively.
When a lot of people think about sustainability, they think of it being something that's unachievable. Well, the reality of the situation is we just all need to do our part. And wearing a t-shirt, a Next Level t-shirt made with Reprieve, gives them an easy way to do that.
Okay, so as you all just heard, we really share Unify's commitment to innovation and, creating those cutting edge products that really transform the way that we use and think about fabric. We're really excited to continue growing this partnership with them in order to, really weave Reprieve into even more of our styles. And as I mentioned earlier, a few of us Next Level employees were fortunate enough to visit Unify's facilities in North Carolina to get to see the action in person. So I want to share this next video with all of you. I mean, not only because I think it's the most fascinating thing in the world, but also because you'll really be able to see how they actually take a plastic bottle and turn it into thread. So it's about a 5-minute video. So grab a sip of coffee and enjoy.
Here at Unify, we create all sorts of innovative fibers for the textile industry. Our most popular product is Reprieve. It's a recycled polyester made out of recycled plastic bottles. Well, the process of creating Reprieve allows us to keep a massive amount of plastic pollution from entering landfills or worse. To date, we've recycled over 25 billion plastic bottles, and they've been used to create product with some of our key partners, such as Next Level's Eco Collection. Running one of the largest recycled polyester facilities in the world is a huge challenge. Those challenges can get easier when you have partners who have passion and purpose, partners like Next Level.
Here at Unify Manufacturing, we are about a 130 million pound processing facility, and in this facility we receive about 75, maybe 80 truckloads per week of bottles that come from across the United States. Here in our bale yard, we receive these materials, and from there the loaders will actually load the entire bale onto the belt system that will convey it up into an SSI shredder. The material is then conveyed inside the building into our first optical sort. From there, we would take this material into a delabeler to remove the label. So once we finish our delabeling, we now move into our manual sort cabin, where we are going to now segregate the greens, the purples, the yellows away from the clear stream. And from there, material is headed into our grinding room. The material is wet ground, and that is a slurry of both flake and water that then moves into our turbo washers. Those washers will actually friction wash this flake to remove any residual that might be on the sidewall. We do go into holding silos at that point. These are holding silos that will actually blend the flake. So once we've evaluated the flake through the lab and we know that it meets the certificate of analysis requirements, the material will be then loaded onto Unified tractor trailers and shipped to our recycling center in Yadkinville, North Carolina.
So when the flake arrives into the plant, it is unloaded by the warehouse, which then they load it into the storage silo. From that storage silo, it goes into a crystallizing process and a drying process. The machine then feeds the flake into the extruder, which then melts the polymer. From that process, it will go through the die plate. It will cut the polymer and create a sphere, which then will go into the shaker table. The shaker table takes the smalls out. After the chip comes out, it is going through the crystallizer and then going through the dryer. The crystallization process in spinning is very important in the sense that it creates an outer shell to the chip. That way it doesn't stick together and clump. After the chip comes out, they will convey it over to spinning into the silos. We have 3 different types of silos. We have a 250,000 pound silo, a 500,000 pound silo, and a 1,000,000 pound silo. We will then convey the chip from that silo for processing going into our spinning plant. As the polymer is flowing through the spinneret, it almost appears as if it's like a shower head. As the polymer is flowing through this shower head, as it's going through, it's solidifying, and those filaments then become one filament that's held in what's called a bundle, and that bundle is then going down to be spun into a bobbin. From that spindle, our AGVs, and that's short for automated guided vehicles, helps pick up the yarn. These vehicles run on a metal wire that's inside the floor. It picks the position up, and then it takes it to our inspection station. The inspection station picks up the yarn and is communicating to the AGV, and it applies the information to what's called an RFID tag on that puck. The polyester is then shipped out to a spinner where they will spin it with the cotton that creates the poly cotton blend. So now that we have a poly cotton yarn, it now has to be turned into a woven fabric that is then shipped out to a cut and sew operation. That operation will make the shirts that goes into the next level eco collection.
So at Next Level, I think it's really important to everyone that we do everything that we can to mitigate our negative impact on the environment. We needed to partner with someone who had the quality that Next Level strives for, the innovation that goes along with our messaging, and also the authenticity to do the right thing. So partnering with Unify has enabled Next Level to reach our sustainability goals more effectively.
All right. So I hope that you all enjoyed seeing that process as much as I did. And now that you've seen the entire process, let's talk a little bit about how we actually use these fibers in our eco styles that truly make a difference to the environment. And also, just as a reminder, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the chat at any time. Okay, so here we have our 4600 unisex eco heavyweight tee, and this tee is 60% organic cotton and 40% of that recycled poly or reprieve. So this tee recycles approximately 4 plastic bottles per shirt, and it is blended with that organic cotton that uses less water in production compared to a virgin cotton. So it's a sturdy and really soft tee, and the color assortment is awesome. And here we have our eco performance styles. So all of these come in our eco performance fabric, which is 30% cotton, 30% recycled cotton, and 40% of that reprieve. So all 3 of these styles also recycle approximately 4 plastic bottles, and then we have that 30% of recycled cotton. So, you know, we've really tried to increase the amount of recycled cotton, but it does take away from that really incredible soft hand feel. You know, again, we're constantly innovating and exploring more ways to, you know, keep that quality feel that we all know and love, while also introducing more and more sustainable materials throughout our assortments. And, you know, it's definitely a learning process, but, you know, we're so excited to continue offering you guys a variety of eco options. You know, we've been having some internal conversations on, you know, whether we want to start incorporating more eco-friendly materials in some of our regular lines. You know, just instead of just having an eco line, to incorporate those materials across the board. You know, and this would obviously help to increase our positive impact. And here we have, so we've compiled some resources for all of you that you're all going to have access to after this webinar. We have sell sheets, these images that you've seen throughout this deck from our awesome marketing team, our Eco and Reprieve videos you'll have access to, more information on Reprieve, and also a quick link to shop our Eco styles. So I really, want to thank all of you for joining and for helping to do our part in getting all of us and our planet to a healthier and greener future. I, along with Next Level, really believe that creating positive change is a wholeheartedly collective effort. Like we said in the video with Unify, we wouldn't be able to provide you with more eco-friendly options without their product. They wouldn't be able, and have the means to create their product without our demand. And then, it's so important to have customers like you that really push us to do better and challenge us to, innovate these new ways to be more environmentally friendly. So it's definitely a team effort, and we are very appreciative of all of you. And if you have any questions after this webinar about our sustainability efforts that you're not able to put in the chat, or even if you as an individual have a question on how to be more eco-friendly, please feel free to reach out to me directly. My email is right on the slide, carlyg@nextlevelapparel.com. And yeah, so we've also allotted some time now for questions, so please feel free to type them in the chat. And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Carly. That was fantastic information. And I have to say, I am lucky enough to have one of your hoodies made with the plastic bottles. And the fabric is amazing. It just feels, as you said, it has that great feel to it. And it's one of my favorite things to wear, honestly. Not just saying that.
Oh, awesome.
So we do
Mine too.
Sure. We do have some questions from our audience. So let me get to the first one. Okay, she said that it's Janine. I'm sorry, Jean. She said that she was on the Next Level Apparel website yesterday, but there was hardly any stock. Do you have plans? Do you think that's going to change soon? Because she said she has clients that are excited, but she can't fill their order right now.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I don't have so much detailed information on our inventory, but on our slide, sorry, I forgot to mention, but I put our sales@nextlevelapparel.com email, and they'll be able to answer all of your questions, related to order status. I do know that we are working incredibly diligently with our suppliers to get you guys product as quickly as possible. I think that the whole world is really struggling right now in supply chain. But yeah, so they'll be able, if you reach out to our sales team, they'll be able to give you some more detailed information. But just know that we're working behind the scenes day and night to try to get you guys product.
That's great. Thank you. Our next question is from Bob. He said, are there hemp blends as opposed to a cotton blend?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, hemp is definitely something that we are looking into. As I said, we're constantly looking into different materials that we can incorporate. And yeah, hemp is a big one that people have been asking about, and it's in some product development conversations. So definitely stay tuned for that.
Okay. Let's see the next one. Sorry, my screen changed.
Technology.
I was going to say the fun of doing it live, right? Okay, here we go. From Brendan. How does the number of washed cycles compare and hold up to a regular tee? Actually, it's a three-part question. So do you want to answer that first? How does the wash cycles hold up to a regular tee?
How does the wash cycle hold up to? So the wash.
Sorry, the number of how many times can you wash it that it still looks good?
I mean, just from my personal use of our product, I've washed my own Next Level tees, I don't know, hundreds of times, and it's still, the quality has held up very well. I don't have that specific information. I don't know if that's something that our sales team would have, but yeah, that might be a good question for our sales team specifically to ask about quality of tea after X amount of washes.
Okay. So Brendan's second part of his question, how does screen printing on the recycled teas compare to a regular 100% cotton tea?
Again, unfortunately, in my department, I really don't focus so much on the printing and the actual quality of the tea. That would definitely be better answered by our sales team. But yeah, if you have any questions on the sustainability of our products, I'm here for you.
Okay.
Hey,
Well, here's a.
Oh, sorry. This is Jeanette. This is Jeanette from marketing, everyone.
Oh, hey, Jeanette.
Hi.
Hey, yeah, I can definitely chime in on some of the printing techniques actually. So for screen printing, our eco performance styles and the heavyweight tea, the 4600, it's exactly the same printability as our CVC, the 6210. We like to give it an A grade for screen printing and heat transfers. It does kind of work for discharge and DTG, but we don't really recommend it. It's just better for plastisol and water-based screen printing techniques only.
That's great. I think that's what Brendan was looking for. So thank you, Jeanette. Appreciate having you behind the scenes with us here.
No worries.
Here's a question from Tina. How long does that entire process take from water bottle to shirt?
That's a really good question, and I should probably have an answer to this. I guess it depends on I guess on the quantity that they're making. I will get back to you on that. You caught me. I don't have that exact number, but that's something that we'll definitely send out.
Okay. Here's something, Jeanette, I don't know if maybe you would want to help with this answer, but Bill has asked, how do the prices of the recycled products compare with a traditional 60-40 blend?
Hello. Okay. I would say to definitely direct that to the sales team. They're gonna have better pricing on that and better information. It kind of varies also depending on the customer as well.
Okay. Here is a question from Jeff about the sustainability portion of it, Carly. He asks, what do you guys do to reduce the environmental impact when it comes to dyeing fabric?
Yeah, so this is something that, as I said, we're in the very beginning stages of starting to work with our dye houses to measure our water usage, but most of our dye houses, most of them are in California and have to follow really strict California law in regards to, dye chemicals. So yeah, just, we obviously ensure and have those certifications to make sure that they're abiding by law.
Okay. Let's see, James has a question. What exactly is recycled cotton and where is that sourced from?
So recycled cotton is exactly how it sounds. It's scraps of cotton that's reground up and then respun into new thread. So that's why, when I was speaking about this, it really does lose some of that soft hand feel because you're grinding it back up and respinning it. It becomes a little bit rougher. And these fabrics are, so with our recycled cotton and our reprieve, these fabrics are in China.
Okay. Here's another decoration question. So we might be asking for Jeanette's assistant. Asking about, she says her company does a lot of tie-dye. Will the recycled fabric work well with, I might not be saying this right, but the Procyon dyes for tie-dyeing?
Not too sure on that one, but I can definitely get that information to you. If you could send your question to that sales@nextlevelapparel.com, and we'll definitely get back to you with that answer.
Okay. Oh, and actually, she just followed up that she also uses natural dyes like carrot tops instead of straight chemical dyes. So yeah, and with all of these,
Yeah,
of
we'll,
course.
we'll add that answer as well to her inquiry when she sends it in.
Okay, awesome. Let's see. Here's a question from Tina. She says, with the sizing on the Echo products, is that any different than standard sizing on your other products?
I don't believe so, but Jeanette, can you confirm?
The sizing is actually, if you look at our CVC, the 6210 and the Cruise, it's basically the same exact fit as those, and we carry the same size range as well.
Okay, great. Let's see. Here's a question that came in from Nadine. She said, does Next Level have plans to expand your Echo collection, perhaps using some of the fibers in your current styles?
So if I'm understanding this correctly, yes, and we definitely have plans to expand our eco collection, whether it's tagged as our eco collection, or if we might also incorporate some of those more sustainable materials in our regular lines, creating just more environmentally friendly products across the board.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's another question just came in from Bob. Is the recycling process through product creation, can that be claimed as made in the USA?
The recycling process, no. So none of our factories at the moment, like our cut and sew factories, are in the US. So
Okay.
no, we did have a made in the USA line a couple years ago, but we no longer are producing that line.
Okay. Another question from Jeff, and this kind of comes up with an earlier one someone asked about hemp. He said, are you considering other materials to include in your sustainable clothing? So I know we did mention hemp. What other things do you have in the works?
Yeah, people are all talking about bamboo now. So there are definitely some materials that we are keeping our eye on, and again, constantly innovating and sampling new fabrics, that stick to our standard, and obviously, hit the right price point, because we all want that right price point.
Sure, it's important.
But yeah, and as I truly believe that as we become, we as in the collective world and the apparel industry become more sustainable and innovate these new technologies, that more and more of these types of environmentally friendly materials will come to market. Who really knew about a product like Reprieve 10 years ago, right? Recycled plastic bottles into a thread. So it's going to be exciting to see how we evolve as an industry, and what kind of materials the industry can offer, for companies like us. So yeah, we're always innovating and always trying to to pull more environmentally friendly materials into the mix.
Yeah, that's great. The video that we played was the longer one with the actual process was fascinating. And
yeah,
it was funny, just as an aside, when they pointed out that it looked like a shower head, I was thinking that looks like water, and I almost didn't even realize till he pointed out that it's thread, basically.
Yeah.
It was crazy, fascinating.
Yeah, and the way that the facility is set up, so it all flows from the top floor down to the bottom. It's just like a gravitational process, and we got right up in there in that shower head. Obviously we couldn't touch anything, but yeah, it's so fascinating, and really, really cool to be on site and see the process happen in real time.
Right. And remind us again, where is that factory?
So it's in North Carolina. You saw two facilities in the video, one in Yadkinville and one in Greensboro. So the one in Yadkinville is the one that, I believe it's the one in Yadkinville, that is like the one with the shower head and the whole process. And and the one in Greensboro is the sorting facility, but I might have those mixed up.
Okay, but well, the good point is that that whole process that you guys take advantage of is USA completely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, great. Let's see, another question here from James. Says, I believe I heard the polyester material content from Unify is third-party certified, but what about the balance of materials used in your products? Is that certified by a third party?
Yep.
What's the certification?
Yeah, so all of our organic cotton is certified, and also the recycled cotton. So we have the certifications from our fabric mills that they provide to us. So yeah, if anyone wants access to those certifications, you can reach out to me directly to have those on file.
Okay. And here's a question that we got from Sydney. What kind of role do you think technology plays in the future of sustainable manufacturing? It's a big one.
A huge role, a massive role. I mean, I don't know if anyone on this webinar has seen what, for example, H&M is doing over in Hong Kong. They actually have it's basically a giant glass container where they have this whole process inside this container where you take I could take this sweater right off of my back, put it through this grinder, and then it reknits, it grinds it up, reknits the thread, and it's just this whole entire process that reknits it back into a new garment. So I am hopeful, that our industry will become more circular. I think that this idea of recycling and reusing and not creating more, virgin polyester and virgin cotton is really where I hope the industry goes. And I think, we're seeing those trends, like with the Adidas plastic sneaker, they made it a whole shoe, a whole sneaker entirely 100% out of recycled plastic. And when you're done with that sneaker, you send it back to Adidas and they grind it up, melt it down, and make a new shoe. So that's my hope in the technology of the industry. But we'll see. Let's all we can all get on another webinar in 10 years and see where we are.
Right. Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Looks like the last question we have at the moment, at least, type in your questions, is from Erin. And she said, do you currently have other products in your assortment using Reprieve besides the t-shirts that you showed us?
Currently, no, but I know that we have a lot more in the works. So definitely stay tuned.
Okay, something else to look forward to. Great. All right. It looks like that is all of our questions. So I just want to say again to Carly, thank you so much for joining us for this fantastic webinar. I certainly learned a lot, and I'm sure our audience did. So for the audience, I just wanted to let you know that you will be able to watch the recording of this webinar early next week on asiuniversity.com. And once that class is up there, we encourage you to share it with your team as well. So with that, I just wanted to thank Carly and the audience again for joining us, and have a great afternoon.